Let me tell you something most people never realize until much later in life. What breaks us isn't always what happens to us, but what we choose to bury deep inside and never face. We think strength means keeping it together, smiling when we want to cry, saying, "I'm fine," when we're anything but. But here's the truth. The emotions we repress don't disappear. They linger, settling like dust in the corners of our mind, heavy enough to shape how we think, behave, and even how our body feels. Those very emotions we lock away in the name of survival are often the ones silently making us weaker over time. Why do we do this? From a young age, we learn that some feelings are acceptable while others, anger, sadness, fear, are weaknesses to be hidden. Maybe you were told to stop crying and be strong. Maybe you were praised for never complaining. So you pushed those feelings down, locked them away, and told yourself you were fine. But psychology reveals something crucial. Emotions are not meant to be destroyed. They are signals, messengers. When we silence them, they don't vanish. They transform. Studies show that repressed emotions resurface in disguise. Unexpressed anger becomes constant irritability. Unfelt sadness appears as numbness or lack of motivation. Unexamined fear manifests as controlling behavior. The body keeps score, and it reveals itself in ways we don't expect. Think about it. How many times have you brushed off what you felt, only to find yourself weeks later drained, restless, or snapping at someone for no reason? That wasn't weakness. That was repressed emotion knocking at your door. What if hiding these emotions is what actually robs you of strength? Because true strength isn't about pretending you don't feel. It's about facing what you feel, understanding it, and letting it pass through you instead of controlling you from the shadows. Imagine holding a beach ball underwater. You can press it down for a while, but eventually the pressure builds and it bursts up with even more force. That's exactly what repressed emotions do. Here's what neuroscience reveals. When we suppress emotions, our brain's prefrontal cortex works overtime to keep those feelings controlled, while the amygdala, the fear center, remains highly active. Even though you're hiding the emotion, your body experiences stress as if it were fully present. It's like running a program in the background, draining your energy without you noticing. That's why repression feels like strength in the moment, but proves to be weakness in the long run. The solution lies not in repression, not in explosion, but in integration. Integration means allowing your emotions to exist, acknowledging them, learning from them, without letting them dominate you. Your emotions aren't enemies to defeat, but teachers to listen to. Anger may teach you where your boundaries are. Sadness may show you what truly matters. Fear may reveal where growth is calling. When you listen instead of repress, you gain strength. Not the fragile strength of pretending, but the resilient strength of understanding. Research shows that when fully felt, most emotions naturally subside within minutes. It's repression that stretches them into years of quiet suffering. By avoiding our emotions, we actually prolong their power over us. By feeling them, we shorten their grip. What seems like weakness in the moment, crying, admitting fear, expressing frustration, is actually the doorway to resilience. Modern psychology confirms that acknowledging emotions literally changes the brain. Simply naming what you feel reduces activity in the amygdala and increases regulation in the prefrontal cortex. When you admit what you feel, your brain shifts from survival mode to control mode. You don't just feel better, you become stronger. This transformation reshapes how we connect with others too. Vulnerability creates intimacy. When you let someone see your authentic self, not the polished version, but the raw, imperfect truth, you invite them to do the same. That's how real bonds form. So how do we begin? Start with awareness, a quiet honesty with yourself. Ask, what am I really feeling beneath the surface? And then, crucially, don't judge it. Anger doesn't make you bad. Sadness doesn't make you weak. Fear doesn't make you broken. They simply make you human. Small practices can change everything. Journaling your thoughts instead of burying them. Talking to a trusted friend. Pausing when you feel tension to ask, what emotion is this, and what does it need? These simple actions rewire pathways in the brain, training you to process emotions instead of repressing them. The more you practice, the more your strength grows. Not the brittle strength of repression, but the flexible strength of resilience. You learn that emotions come and go, like waves on the shore. They rise, they crash, they recede. None last forever. And once you know this, you stop fearing them. But there's a deeper truth. When you cut off sadness, you also cut off joy. When you repress fear, you numb excitement. When you silence anger, you silence passion too. Repression doesn't just protect you from pain, it shields you from life itself. The real question becomes, do you want safety, or do you want aliveness? Because safety without aliveness is just survival. And aliveness, though messy, is where strength, love, and meaning reside. Every great story, every deep connection, every moment of growth comes not from repression, but from people willing to face themselves, to feel, to fall, and to rise again. So if you've been carrying emotions you've never allowed yourself to face, maybe now is the time not to fight them or drown in them, but to sit with them, to say, I see you, I hear you, I accept you. In doing so, you'll discover a strength that doesn't crack under pressure, because it no longer has to hide. Weakness isn't in feeling too deeply, but in refusing to feel at all. What you repress today becomes the weight you carry tomorrow. But what you allow yourself to feel today becomes the freedom you live with tomorrow. Life will always test us. Pain will always come. But freedom belongs to those who dare to feel.